All right, guys, episode 16. With me is Vili, who is a very active participant in the Bulgarian startup ecosystem. So he has a lot of things to tell us. First of all, introduce yourself. What exactly do you do?
Thank you first for the invitation. Okay, how can I introduce myself right now? I can definitely say I'm a startup ecosystem builder. That's what I want to do. And that's why I've been inspired to do by many people and mentors throughout the last 4/5 years. And slowly but steadily, I believe I do it. Professionally, right now, I've been working for around 6 months in the Superhuman Podcast Foundation. We are an NGO, and our idea is to create a better environment, create a better society, community, to make Bulgaria a better place, and to show the role models to everyone, and especially to youngsters in the age of between 15 and 19. My role in the foundation is business development. We are not for profit, but we still need to be economically sustainable. And I'm also fundraising for the foundation so we can make more of what we do and to increase our impact. In my free time, I'm mentoring youngsters. Many people from programs like Teen Innovator, Mentor the Young, Able Mentor. I also participate in the accelerator programs like Aspire. Recently we created 2 very interesting formats. One of them was 3 working weeks. The whole duration was 1 month in Varna, Aspire Impact Academy, and a shorter format, which is Aspire Impact Sprint for 5 days in the end of in the beginning of June, actually. Mm-hmm. That is like a part-time activity. Pretty much that's everything. And yeah.
That's a lot of stuff. By the way, guys, with Fiero Cafe, we filmed an episode, and actually Vili was their mentor, and actually he connected me with them. They were really great. What is it like to work with such bright young people?
It's amazing. It's a great experience. It's very rewarding, actually, and it also takes a lot of energy. But I can honestly say the meetings with the youngsters, for example, in Teen Innovator, we are working with them for 9 months, from October till the end of May. Fiero Cafe was one of the projects. We had 2 teams. The one that produced the coffee and the other that produced energy gum. We had meetings every Wednesday after work, and they are in the end of the workday, after the workday, but after the meeting you're kind of exhausted from the whole day, and it's in the middle of the week, but on the other hand you're very enthusiastic in the end, because you see some young people. We don't call them kids. Yeah. We call them youngsters because we don't need to make bigger gaps between us and them. But you see how enthusiastic they are, how inspired they are, how they take everything. You tell them like tabula rasa, like a whiteboard, and you need to be first, of course, authentic. And for me, it's very important to be a role model for them, to show them the good practices. It's okay to be competitive, yes, but in the end, you need to enjoy the experience of the whole program, the format. It doesn't matter if it's Teen Innovator, if it's Aspire, if it's Mentor the Young. You need to gain knowledge, skills, experiences, and to become a better professional. And I honestly believe that percentage of them, maybe not all of them, but percentage of all 30 people I've been mentoring in the last year, percentage of them will become entrepreneurs and will develop their own businesses. Because from the beginning until the end, I can see how they gained confidence, they're now more active. They have this can-do attitude right now. Because in the beginning, for example, some of them were not that willing to make cold calls with different vendors connected to the production of coffee. In the end, even a few months before the end, they were very active. They were picking up the phone, calling whoever they needed, and I see how this skill could be very valuable in their next experiences, future jobs, etc.
Yeah. For me, it was very astonishing how at a such younger age they were so professional, like even in their emails, their communication. But what's most interesting to me, how do they create those business ideas and stick to them, and they're consistent and have success? What's the process of creating such a good idea?
It's a process, definitely. And I also need to say that I'm not the only mentor. I've been co-mentoring with two ladies, Eli and Vili. And there is also a reason why we are 2 or 3 during the whole program, because many of us are very, very busy. And for example, I've been traveling a lot in the last 5-6 months. Yeah. Sometimes I couldn't be present in our meeting, and that's why we can switch. We can take turns, whoever leads the session. And the whole success in the end, because I measure success by what they have developed and how they pitched their idea, how confident they were in the final event of The Innovator. And I measure that by watching them grow. And also it also depends not on us entirely, but on the youngsters as well, because all of them are very proactive, and we are lucky to have them. The idea creation, the ideation process starts in January, because in the previous October, November, December, and January, in the previous 4 months, we are developing with them some soft skills, like communication skills, leadership skills. We are talking about emotional intelligence, empathy, how to work in a group, how to work in a team. And these are very important in the everyday life. And the idea creation process starts in January. In the beginning, I would say they can have something in mind, and in the middle of January we have the weekend of ideas, when they have 48 hours to come up with an idea, to present it in front of the whole audience of The Innovator. This is where maybe the business part starts taking place until the end of May. So in our case, one of the teams, the team had the idea with the gum from the beginning. For the other ideas, there were 4 or 5 youngsters that pitched their ideas, and the others were voting. I'm not sure if the mentors, if we voted, maybe not, because it should be their decision, but it was, I would say, they made their best choice. So the idea about the coffee came up from a kid who saw that from his teacher in the school. The teacher showed them that there is such type of coffee in Britain, and he said, why don't we do it here in Bulgaria? Maybe there is a market, because we were starting already to talk about idea validation, customer interviews, market research, different types to generate a business idea, business model canvas, link canvas. It's amazing. I love this journey, the whole process of teaching them that, because it also helps me summarize my knowledge. And sometimes when we are teaching other people how to do something, we are also learning it better. For example, if you read a book and then share it with a friend, you learn more, you remember more of the book. So I would say one of the team was very confident with their idea. The other picked the idea by what they heard, and in the end, I would say, it was a great choice because both teams had many sales in the final demo day event, and this is a good traction.
Yeah, so basically you guys are like a factory for future serious entrepreneurs. And tell me about also your origin story, because you also started with your own startup as a co-founder. When did you start that, and how did that idea came into your mind?
Okay, yes, you're talking about Unboxd.
Yeah.
And I think the first time we met was here in Sofia University in 2022.
Yeah. In the youth young entrepreneur competition.
Yes, the best youth startup in Bulgaria, 2022.
Yeah.
So about entrepreneurship, I believe it started with me somewhere maybe in the high school, but as an idea in my head. I didn't have. Maybe I was buying some stuff. I was trying to resell them in our village celebration, which is once a year. I was buying these mustaches you can put on your face, and reselling them at some point. These were some, how to say, first steps in side hustle. In 8th grade, I believe.
In 8th grade?
Yeah. It wasn't very profitable, but I was trying. But I always knew that I will be doing something like we'll have my own business. We have my own business. We'll develop products or some services. So after I graduated high school, I started studying in the American university. I graduated with business administration major and economics minor. These were my favorite subjects, my favorite courses, even before I started studying in the university, because I attended 2 open day classes, and these were accounting 101 and maybe principles of microeconomics, where I learned. I was in 12th grade, and I learned about supply and demand. It was very, very interesting where they meet, how do you define the price, and etc. And during the university, I was still not that involved in accelerators, in programs yet. But in 2021, fast forward, I was already in Sofia. I was working in an advertising agency because I graduated in 2019. And then my co-founder from the startup Unboxd, Nicole, contacted me. Actually, I saw her post on Facebook. She mentioned that she's going to create a business venture, a project, with which she will apply in Elevate. Elevate is the accelerator program in AUBG, which by this point was a joint venture between AUBG and 11 Ventures until last year, I believe. Now it's entirely under the university. And I was really, it was very interesting for me because I was doing digital marketing at my full-time job, mainly Facebook ads. This is not something I studied in the university, but right after I graduated, I started doing digital marketing courses, taking them, and I took around 60 or 70 of them during the pandemic. And I saw her post. I knew her personally, but we had only one common year in the university. My last year in AUBG was her first, because she's a few years younger, and I knew her, but not that good. And I saw her post. She didn't mention the idea, and I decided she said that she needed a digital marketing specialist. She's looking for a marketing co-founder for the new thing. And I was looking for different part-time jobs, some side hustle activities, like digital marketing ones. And because I had free time after work, free time during the weekend, I was not that involved yet. and I wanted to develop my skills further and further. And I texted her. She said, "Let's arrange a call. First, send me a CV." I sent her my CV. It was March 2nd, I believe, 2021, because I remember when we were communicating back then. We had a call. She told me about the idea of a digital marketplace. I was also interested in e-commerce at this point, and it was something like re-commerce, circular. She introduced to me the circular fashion idea, because I was not that involved, that interested in secondhand. Back then, I had purchased a few items from some Instagram profiles, but nothing more than that. And also, while I was in work and travel in the States, I purchased some items from there because it was way cheaper. And when I needed when I needed clothes for work, it was the better option for us. She told me about Depop in UK and Poshmark in the States, and we mainly we wanted to make something like OLX or OLX, but for clothes, accessories and shoes. There was Note. I think Note was the only platform back then here in Bulgaria, but back then it was only for influencers and only for women. For example, if I want to sell my jeans there, I couldn't do it because I'm first not a woman and I'm not an influencer. We want to make something for everyone. Right now, I know that that's not possible.
Yeah.
You cannot have a platform for everyone, but you learn this by doing and by hitting your head in the wall sometimes.
Yeah, trial and error.
Exactly, that's the better way to say it. And the learning curve is long. I really like the idea. We prepared our pitch deck very well, even before we were in the program yet. Only for the application process, we worked a few months. For example, from April until September, we conducted around maybe 20-30 interviews with potential customers, because for the application day, for the application process, which was in the end of September, beginning of October 2021, we wanted to show traction. We wanted to show not paying customers yet, but interest. And we also conducted 2 surveys. Right now, I'm not that up for surveys, but back then I didn't know that much. Not that now I know everything, but I'm still learning. Back then, we created 2 surveys. We gathered 100 answers each, or 150, because it's easy to create something in a university and to spread it around the campus. Nicole was in her second year, I believe, in the university. And we still had the connection with the students, which is very important. And it's also one of the requirements to be part of Elevate. One of the co-founders to be current student. And she was that one. I was the marketing expert. She was the business development / CEO. We had a tech guy, of course, and a girl that was responsible for the legal, paperwork, administration stuff. And we applied to Elevate. We were accepted there, and 6 months later, we were one of the winning teams.
Wow.
And secured our first award, our first prize, which was not an investment, but maybe it's more like a grant.
Yeah.
And that's how, for me especially, the door for the startup ecosystem in Bulgaria opened.
Yeah.
And after that, we participated in maybe around 3 or 4 more accelerators. We participated in Pitch to Pitch and a few others, which helped us to gain the experience needed to be a better professional and to do what we love.
Yeah. That's actually very important, to start with something small, and usually it has a snowball effect. It opens up so many doors. I mean, that's maybe the case also with me and this thing that we're currently doing, this podcast. But Okay, what is your how do you find motivation for entrepreneurship? Like what kind of podcasts, movies, or books have you read or are you currently reading that inspire you to have? Because I think entrepreneurship is mainly the mindset to be entrepreneurial. What is your motivation? Where does it come from?
Yeah, I also believe it's a mindset. We often talk with Georgi Nenov, with whom I currently work. Which are the reasons? What are the reasons why we become entrepreneurs, for example? For me, I can say, as I said before, it's something I have in myself from young age, and I didn't have all the answers how, when, and what exactly, but I always knew that I will do something like this. Right now I don't have my own business apart from Unboxd, which is not very active right now for certain reasons, but I'm helping others become better professionals to become entrepreneurs. And with the foundation, it's kind of like a small startup.
Yeah.
We are a team of 6 people, and we have many, the full-time people, we have many heads. So there are many roles and responsibilities. It's very dynamic. Not everyone loves that, but I prefer that to not. I mean, I haven't been in a big corporation, but last April I stopped working in a big. I left my job in a company with 100 and maybe 40 employees, which was operating in 5 countries. It was becoming bigger and bigger, but right now, and with Unboxd and with my other projects, I believe I have bigger impact and a better contribution for sure. How you become an entrepreneur? I also think it's something your environment is responsible for. For example, my parents are not exactly entrepreneurs, but I've been listening to their stories. For example, from my father, who at my age was maybe a few years younger, he had been operating restaurants in the seaside. A few years later, with my mother, they've been selling some underwear around southwest of Bulgaria. They are kind of hustlers in their own means. My mother also, she's a marketing/advertising agent. She's been working in radios, in newspapers. She knows how to sell these. Right now they're not that popular because all the media is in our phones. But in the old newspapers, you have these pages with mainly advertisements, and she was selling the different squares, the different banners. Right now they're called banners in the websites, but in the newspapers they also have a specific name. She was selling that to advertisers, and she was really good at it. Right now she's doing something similar, and I believe this formed me as a person who wants to do something like this in the future. Talking about movies, people, books, I can definitely say the Superhuman podcast for sure. Also, not all of the episodes, but no, I would not say the one that I had in mind, but I would say Mark Manson, because recently, he's doing great episodes. He had one with 14 or 15 quotes and citations recently. It was great. This is a good example of a podcast. Also, The Diary of CEO. Even though I don't watch all the episodes, sometimes I catch some reels, and I see it's very. He's presenting good stories there. A person who had great influence, positive influence to my mindset, the way I'm thinking is definitely Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yeah.
I love his content. I found him maybe in 2018, 2019, something like this. Many people say he's repeating the same stuff, but they work.
Yeah.
I read the one that's not the newest one, but the previous one with the 12 rules for I'm not sure about the title, but it was a very good one. And I've been consuming his content for years. It helps me. I also implement some of his messages in my presentations. For example, I had one here in the economic department in Sofia University in December. And I also, when I talk with the youngsters in the sessions we have, I also try to implement some of the lessons I learned from him. Movies, I really love the Social Network because, I mean, of course, some of the people we have been admiring in the past are not that great heroes now.
Yeah.
Especially the leaders in the big tech companies. But the movie about the creation of Facebook, for me is very interesting. I cannot say if I like or don't like Mark right now, but there is some startup.
It gets you pumped.
Yeah, exactly. In these years, when you see how interesting it was, how hyped they were when they were creating the Social Network. The first version, of course, it's not a very good one. It's not a great example, but he was, how to say, he had a goal and he achieved it. I also like Beautiful Mind a lot, and the Nash Equilibrium, but I'm not sure about if the Imitation Game. Imitation Game is the movie about John Nash. Mm-hmm. I think the first name was John, which is also amazing. Forrest Gump also. I like this movie. But yeah, mainly movies about business. Yeah. These are my mainly non-fiction titles.
And also, I don't know if you guys know, but you actually ran 100 kilometers in the mountains. How did you do that? And I think I'm talking about this topic because I think there is a relation between sports and doing awesome things and startups. Like, can you tell me more about how did you have the mindset to run 100 kilometers? How did you have the discipline to do that thing, and how did you have the idea of like, okay, one day I'm gonna run this marathon? Tell me more about this?
Thank you for implementing this topic as well. Yeah, last week was 2 weekends ago was Vitosha 100, which is an ultra marathon. I participated for a second time, and last year when I participated for the first time, I told that to a friend of mine earlier today. I went through the whole track in my mind. Maybe a week before the race day, and it was very important. It was in very important time of my life because I was in my hometown. I don't go there very often because I'm busier here in the capital, or maybe not prioritizing the best way possible. But we had some family health issues with one of my parents. Right now everything is okay, but it was maybe a month after the very serious, maybe not the most critical one, but a serious surgery. Everything was okay. My mother was okay, and she was now getting better and better. And I wanted to show her. I know that she has it. She has that strong mindset. I wanted to show her again that whatever we have in our mind, we can achieve it. Of course, it should be doable and possible. But I believe that there aren't any impossible things. I was not very prepared last year, this year as well, but I know I can do it. I knew I can do it. I started running 2 years ago. I started with 1 kilometer, the next day 2, 3, 5, and before the ultramarathon, I think my longest distance was 16 kilometers, maybe 21, but for the 21 I was switching between walking and running, and I knew how many people can do it. Of course, I don't think I'm a Superman or something, but I knew I can do that. Yeah. And I also have some physical preparation for the years when I was in high school. I've been doing martial arts for 10 years, and until last April last year, I was doing CrossFit for maybe a year and a half, which also helped. And I just needed to walk. And it's very, I also make the connection with entrepreneurship because at some point it helps you prioritize. Yeah. When you're in the forest, when you're especially in the first kilometers, when we are in kilometer 10 or 15 or 20, you just need to keep walking, just to put one leg, the left leg, after that the right, left, right, and you just keep walking, no matter how much more you have. Just keep doing it. You see many people around you are running or walking. You just need to remember why you went there, and to, of course, to put the mind over the body, because I started having pain in my knees, in my legs, as a whole at the 20th kilometer last year, and I just kept going, slowly but steadily, and in the end it happened. I finished before the how do you say, by the measured time, you have 20 hours, around 20 hours to finish it. I finished for 19 last year. This year I finished for 18 and a half, and I believe I can do better. I will do better next year. And I keep motivating myself by finishing each race, because I see how it's the same with the entrepreneurship. You set a goal, you work for that, you're consistent, you're patient, because to walk 100 kilometers, you also need to be very patient.
That's very true. I think there is a very strong correlation between people who do sports and people who do entrepreneurship, because it's the same mindset and motivation to achieve those goals. And so if I'm a young person, what would you say to him if he has to choose between the corporate world, the public sector, or entrepreneurship? Why should he go into entrepreneurship?
First, I cannot say that there is a recipe that's applicable for everyone. You need to find your thing, your passion. Even though it's a cliche that because it works. That's true. I mean, you need to find what makes you interested, what keeps you awake during the night. For example, if you think about something, there are advantages and disadvantages in the corporate job, in the startup world, in the NGO sector. You need to maybe make a list and say, okay, if I prefer security and stability and maybe some predictability, I can choose this job, in the corporate world. But I won't have that much. I mean, I don't want to say that people who work, the employees in the corporation or the big companies, don't have contribution, but it's not that maybe visible, or you cannot feel it that way. When you're a team of 3 people, in our case with Unboxd, or 6 people right now at the foundation, you see the results of your contribution on a daily basis, and you can take decisions quickly. But for me, what works better is the startup world, the small team spirit, and we learn by doing. In both cases, in our startup, maybe we are not failing that fast, but I would recommend to people to fail fast, to learn from their mistakes, and also to try. because when we were in the first program with Unboxd, I switched jobs. I started working in this German company in 2021, which I left last April. I've been there for 2 years and a half, and I was still doing digital marketing, and I just switched from Facebook to Google. And during the whole program with Unboxd and our development, I was working at a company. Many people didn't know that. Many people from the ecosystem thought my only thing is Unboxd. It wasn't like that, and I can be honest that the big company job or the corporate job was paying our salaries.
Yeah.
And I honestly I cannot say which is better. Sometimes I believe if we had cut all the bridges back then, maybe our startup could have developed better and further. But on the other hand, sometimes it's not the most it's not the best decision.
Yeah.
Because if I cannot pay my rent next month, and the startup doesn't have any investment, we cannot. You cannot choose this or that. You need to put food on the table. Thankfully, it's only me right now. I'm not creating a family, and at some point it could be even harder. So maybe we took a better decision back then to keep our full-time jobs, to work on Unboxd whenever we have time, which also has its minuses, because when you go in front of investor, you cannot say, this is my hobby startup.
Yeah.
It's not serious. But we did not know that back then, and I can say again, it's not the best decision to quit your job and to dedicate fully on your startup when you don't have some capital.
Yeah.
Some money that you have saved as a cushion. And even if you have, it should be from the whole team, which is also, I mean, we didn't do that mistake to depend entirely on someone's investment, someone's savings, and we still get our experience from the startup world, from developing Unboxd. But next time, for sure, I will do some of the things in a different way.
Yeah.
So to recap on your question, I prevent myself from giving advices about which to choose. I would just advise them to try things, to try sectors, to try industries, to try companies. And because right now we live in a very dynamic world, 20 or 30, 40 years ago, you finish school, you start job somewhere, you start work somewhere, and 40, 45 years later you retire from the same job or work. It's not, right now, that's not the case. You can switch companies every 6 months. That's also typical for Gen Z. I consider myself maybe one of the first years of Gen Z. Yeah. So it's okay. If you switch jobs every second month, maybe you should consider that. But it's okay to look what's interesting for you, to search for your passion, and to try different industries and work environments.
Yeah, very, very cool. So one last final words. Can you tell me how do you see the future of the Bulgarian startup ecosystem?
That's a great question, and because I didn't recommend any books before, right now I have some at my mind. How I see the future of the Bulgarian ecosystem, I believe right now we live in maybe the best years of the Bulgarian startup world, the Bulgarian entrepreneurship ecosystem. I see many accelerators, many incubators, many competitions, communities that are developing not only projects or products, but they're developing skills in youngsters, which will be part of the next unicorns of Bulgaria. These youngsters, they will create their own companies. They will go in some big companies where they will also contribute by contributing to the economy, because that's what makes the society healthy. And I believe the future is very, very bright. I also argument myself sometimes if someone says that all the youngsters are in TikTok or they're wasting their time. I can give right now, maybe for the last 3-4 years, which I have been mentoring almost during the whole duration, I can give around 50 examples of youngsters. I have, with 30 of them, I have one common chat in Instagram. I keep in touch with almost all of my mentees. I try to keep in touch with them. It's mainly because of me, because I don't have that much time, but I have great examples. I see how they progress. I've been also, I don't want to brag for myself, but I'm bragging with their skills and with their accomplishments. I recommended 2 times participants from T-Innovator for the American University in Bulgaria. And I think one of the ladies for sure is accepted because she's now in her 2nd year. And I see that as a tendency. And this is amazing process. In the beginning, you have, as I said before, the programs for early starters, for youngsters in 10th, 11th, 12th grade, the first years in the university, which is for Mentor the Young, Able, Aspire. After that, you have the universities, like Sofia University, UBG, the University of National and World Economy as well. And you see how right now I go to these different places and I see familiar faces. Yeah. After that, you see how some of them start in great companies, in one of the most successful companies, and at some point, you see how they're becoming next superhumans, for example. And I'm kind of in our bubble, but I like our bubble, and I prefer to be in this one instead of just going with the flow.
Yeah, I also prefer to be in this bubble. Thank you very much. It was really cool, and I hope you guys liked it.
Thank you
very much. Thank you.